going, and it will be a Terran versus Zerg on MLG Metalopolis. As you said earlier, Dark Cell, I think you said he was really confident in his Zerg, or his Zerg versus Terran, and we'll see whether that confidence is well warranted.
Yeah, an MLG Metalopolis going to give an opportunity for the players to macro up a little bit easier to get that third up as a Zerg, as you do not have to deal with close spawn positions where your third is basically right in the line of fire. So we'll see what the positions are here. We'll have VVV Murder spawning as the purple Terran in the northern position, and Quantic Gaming Dark Cell spawning as the orange Zerg in the eastern position, close by air here, and it's going to be easy for Dark Cell to expand away from his opponent, but Murder could have some nice drop play here.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what Murder tries to go for. I almost want to say that Murder's going to try to go for that 3 racks opening that we saw Ruff do last week, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did it. But then again, Murder does like to play a much more standard style of game. You can see that he's now going to go ahead and build down that supply depot, and the Overlord of Dark Cell making an interesting position and will be able to scout out Murder without getting spotted. A lot of the times the Terran player will come down into this position here to try to scout out that Overlord, and Murder will in fact scout it out, sees Dark Cell, and now pulls away, and he knows exactly where his opponent is.
Yeah, Dark Cell using a little bit of a strange position there on that Overlord, but Murder actually a strange scout there by the SCV, sees it right away. It looks like the display is still Murder versus Og. If you could take a moment to change it to Dark Cell. We'll talk a little bit about what I think Murder's going to do. Typically likes to go for a fast Reaper expand in TVZ. I imagine that's what he's going to be going for, as we see both him and Angry like to do that, put a lot of pressure and get some good scouting. We see he has yet to send out a scout here. So we do have Dark Cell and Murder both know the positions, but not quite the starting build orders, as we do have Murder getting down that refinery. Pretty normal timing, though he won't have enough gas right away to start that tech lab to get out a Reaper.
Yeah, that refinery is actually about 2 SCVs late, as the drone now going to make its way up, and it doesn't look like a supply depot will come down in time. A Marine is going to be trained, and the drone trying to block a tech lab that will not be coming out, as a Marine will be coming out and trying to chase down that drone in just a moment. Murder finally transferring 3 SCVs over, as the drone just running around to hide. SCV is going to come in, see the hatchery here on the low ground. The spawning pool is currently coming online, about halfway done morphing into play, but no gas yet by Dark Cell. So with no gas, he's not going to have that metabolic boost. He's not going to be able to utilize banelings or roaches. It looks like he's just trying to power drone his way through the game.
Yeah, we'll see how he deals with this Reaper if it does come from Murder, as the tech lab about to finish, and here comes the Reaper. So without speed and without a queen quite yet, we'll see if that Reaper is able to get some good scouting information, maybe pick off a drone or two. We'll see how long Dark Cell goes without gas. It's basically a foregone conclusion that you have to get that Zergling speed at some point, but Zerg players have been going longer and longer without gas and just experimenting, focusing on their instead their mineral economy. As we see, Dark Cell has limited the tech of Murder by stealing his gas here. Murder going to have the 1 Marine, try and focus that down, and here comes the Reaper, going to help take down the Extractor and then perhaps get some scouting information on Dark Cell.
Yeah, Murder also getting that second command center and also going for that second rack, so it will be 2 racks play. I'm expecting a third one, as that seems to be a pretty norm as of late. 1 barracks with the tech lab, 2 without any add-ons, training up Marauders and Marines. So those Reapers are going to be trying to make a move out, and we may get into 3 Reaper play. 3 Reaper play much more effective, just because 3 Reapers can one-shot any worker there, and the Reaper now just dancing forth between the 2 locations. There are some Queens in play as well. The Queens have a slightly lesser range, or less range. I think it's a range of 3 versus a range of 4.5 on a Reaper. I don't know why it's a 0.5 at all, but the D8 charges are actually a little bit further, as the Reapers are now trying to make a move out and taking some damage from the Queen. The Queen is caught off of creep though, so now being forced to pull back. The dual pistols do not deal that much damage, especially when you factor in the base 1 armor on a Queen.
Yeah, Dark Cell going for a lot of queens here. The fourth one about to come out. So again, focusing all on minerals. He's got his economy up and running, drones, 7 of them about to pop, and using queens for defense. He's got 4 at the moment. They'll be very good in the early game, defending against Reapers or any sort of Banshee or Hellion harass coming from Terran. And then in the late game, they can start spreading that creep. Already 1 active tumor down for Dark Cell, possibly going to be planning a second one. And he is working on that gas. So we see he starts out with Metabolic Boost, a little bit late, but it's not going to cost him too much as those queens are very good for defense.
Now, interestingly enough, Murder got Combat Shield first instead of Stim Pack, and now running off of 5 barracks. So 5 barracks, he will be able to train up a lot of Marines, and now in comes the battle over here. The Queen now trying to come off the creep. Will it be able to engage? The Marines are down on the low ground. This is going to be a little bit difficult as he needs to really micro this battle and be very careful. The Reaper's pulling back here. It looks like that creep tumor was set down. Spine Crawlers are now coming online with a range of 7. This Marine harassment, I believe, is going to be limited.
Yeah, as long as he keeps a queen or 2 on the high ground to prevent those Reapers from hopping up, I think Dark Cell doing a very nice job here. Again, all these queens just focusing on drones. I imagine with his next 100 gas, he might be going for a lair and then adding a few more gas. We see 1 more gas coming in as the Marines and the Reapers of Murder just trying to feel out Dark Cell a little bit, looking for any opportunity or hole in that defense. But Dark Cell has it pretty well covered.
Yeah, Dark Cell sitting at 62 over 84 food compared to Murder's 46 over 46. He's only building 1 supply depot, so he's going to be instantaneously supply locked right after it's done. As you can see, a lot of units are queued up in those barracks there, and now also trying to train up some SCVs. And I don't think that Murder is staying on top of his macro. He's going to fall behind, as now we're going to see the full brunt of the Zerg running off of 3 hatcheries as another hatchery coming into play.
Yeah, and Murder trying to take down these queens, but the queens have pretty high energy, so they will be able to get transfuses also as the Zerglings with speed finally come out, and it looks like Dark Cell is going to be able to get a surround here, use his queens and these Zerglings to take down this remaining force of Murder as the Marines go down quite easily. Most of the Zerglings go down as well, but there's still 4 queens up. They're going to start spreading creep with Abandon here, or Reckless Abandon, a macro hatch going up for Dark Cell, and I imagine he will take a 3rd now that those Marines have been shut down.
Yeah, Macro Hatch, a very, very nice touch, making sure that he can train up a lot of Zerglings and dump all the minerals that he currently has. Murder is in a bit of trouble right now. He does have level 1 weapons upgrade now started, and he will be getting Medivac soon. Meanwhile, taking a look into Dark Cell's base, Dark Cell's finally going into tier 2, but I don't see a Roach Warren. We are getting a Baneling's Nest though, so any more Marine harassment with that creep spread and taking the tier 2, allowing for the movement speed on those Banelings, I believe it is just pretty much going to be limited.
Yeah, pumping out a round or 2 of Zerglings here and morphing into Banelings, this game could be over very quickly as Murder playing pretty greedy. He is going for all bio, mostly Marines, just 1 bunker. He does not have siege tanks up. He's going instead for a lot of medevacs out of this reactor starport. So it looks like Dark Cell may be going for an attack here. He's got Zerglings into position. I imagine they will become Banelings as we do have the centrifugal hooks on the way as well. So we could see a timing here coming from Dark Cell. He's got that 3rd almost complete as well. If we check the income counting station, it's 61 to 42. So Murder far, far behind here. Really needs to get up a few siege tanks or do some damage with his drop he might be preparing here to get back into this.
Yeah, taking a look back at the upgrades, Dark Cell also getting the Claw Attack and the Carapace upgrades as well, in addition to Burrow. So a lot of upgrades coming in from Dark Cell right now. Pneumatized Carapace, he will be able to start suiciding Overlords, but in comes a drop and doing a running drop here as the Marines are now trying to fight back. In comes a Queen as well. The Marines trying to get some damage, trying to make sure that they cannot get surrounded, and now quickly jumping back in to those medevacs. The Queens did try to come over, tried to deter it away, but unable to do so, as we now have 5 Banelings and some Zerglings on the high ground at the 10 o'clock location. I assume as soon as the centrifugal hooks are done, they will be charging down that ramp in order to get some damage.
Yeah, I imagine the next time that these larvae pop off all these hatcheries, he's running off 4 hatcheries at the moment, it's going to be a round of Zerglings. If he pushes out with these Zerglings and the Banelings and the centrifugal hooks finishes along with the 2 level 1 upgrades, it could be a great timing for him. It is 112 to 100, and we do see that Siege Tech is about to finish for Murder, so he needs to get this up, needs to get those Siege Tanks into position, perhaps another bunker or a few supply depots in front here to try to block those Banelings.
Yeah, so we'll see what's happening. A command center also being built, so Murder knows that he cannot fall behind as Dark Cell already taking up his third base. A decent number of drones there, 14 off of the minerals, so it is not getting diminishing returns just quite yet. An SCV may try to walk in, and if the SCV is smart, he can just walk in towards those banelings and try to suicide 1 for 2. Marines are now going to be pushing in. The centrifugal hooks are moving in as well. Siege tanks, both sides battling it out, and I believe that the Marines should be able to catch up against those banelings there as a drop was pretty much canceled by Murder, Murder unable to drop into the smokescreen area here.
Yeah, Dark Cell's still a little bit ahead, but I feel like he missed an opportunity there to try to bust that front, the natural of Murder, where when it was only just the one bunker and a few Marines. Now Murder does have the drops out, and we'll see an infestation pit coming out for Dark Cell about to complete. So he's going to want to try to shut down those drops with infestors. It's a little bit more difficult to do than if you go for Mutatech, but the infestors, if you can keep them alive, can be very gas effective. And now we see Dark Cell trying to focus down this drop before it does any damage, and Murder doing a nice two-prong attack, the front door and a drop right behind the natural, and Dark Cell's not able to get back there with his Zerglings.
That very, very nice move by Murder. Murder just dropping in between the Baneling's Nest and the Spire. The Queen not going to be able to do much at all, and this is going to be a nightmare as we are now getting an elevator drop here. So Murder now pushing in with the Marines on the high ground. Siege tanks also protecting there. So both sides just dealing a lot of damage towards each other. We'll see what's going to be happening. There's a Queen that's maybe able to finish down this medevac over here. Down it goes, but that Queen's also destroyed. Zerglings looking to try to get a little bit of positioning. Banelings in the center, but wow, Murder completely has turned this game upside down.
Yeah, and it was just the positioning of that Baneling Nest and the Spire. It looks like both of them might go down here. Murder has to focus down that Spire, instead taking on the Zerglings, and the Banelings really needs to stim up and focus it down. No, he's not going to get that Spire. So the level 1 attack will finish, and it looks like all the Marines and the tanks were cleaned up there by Dark Cell. But that was a beautiful position, a great drop by Murder. He was able to stop all the mining at this natural. It is now 66 harvesters for Murder compared to the 60 of Dark Cell. So right back in this, got up his third base up and running, and also preparing a 4th command center.
Yeah, so a 4th command center coming in. We also see the auto-sec tracking, so +1 range on the planetary fortress and on those missile turrets, which will make it very difficult for the Mutalisk to try to run by. A lot of high-level players know exactly how far a missile turret can shoot in their mind, so they try to avoid those missile turrets, but taking a little bit more damage. Missile turrets fire incredibly fast, the same speed as a Marine, but does, what, I believe twice the amount of damage, or 4 times the amount of damage, excuse me, as this medevac will get shut down. We see a couple Baneling nests or Baneling bombs set up in position, so Dark Cell may have to try to get lucky at this time in order to really put a dent into this mass Marine army.
Yeah, he's really going to have to take some sort of risk, or wouldn't necessarily call it luck. He did get up the infestation pick, but not getting the pathogen glands upgrade, so maybe that was for an eventual hive tech. Could be going for a greater Spire, and it looks like he's going to be shutting down a big drop by Murder. One of the medevacs that was completely full goes down, the second one going down momentarily as well, and it looks like Murder's plans can be foiled here as the Muta is now taking out all these medevacs.
Yeah, somehow Murder just getting absolutely unlucky. There was 5 medevacs, only 2 of them had anything in them, and both of them got shut down while the other 3 were able to escape. Maybe the Marines and the Marauders ate too much food and the medevacs were slower, unable to move away.
Yeah, actually the full medevacs were in front, so I probably would have microed that a little bit differently and maybe put the empty ones in front. As we see these, just these few Mutalisks here, 6, 7, 8 of them here, they will be able to shut down any drops, and nice Overlord position as we see a big encounter here. The Zerglings trying to get a surround on these tanks and these Marines, but just not enough Zerglings and Banelings to take those down. Murder does survive with a large number of Marines, a few tanks as well, and he is going to be taking the gold. So he's got he's now the aggressor in this game, and he will be taking the gold. If he can get that up and running, get some tanks into position, he could take control of the center of this map and this game. Yeah,
Murder, I was going to say he mispositioned his command center, not close enough. He should be upgrading that to a planetary fortress as well, as they are much more difficult to break down, and the Mutalisks are just on patrol trying to look for units to take down. The siege tanks are level 1 weapon upgraded, so they will be able to blast through, but this is going to be a problem. Oh, a nice scanner sweep catching all of these Banelings, and no Baneling bombs or Baneling landmines today coming in from Dark Cell. As we can see, a swarm of Zerglings going to come up the ramp and catch this orbital or this command center, trying to upgrade to a planetary fortress and unable to do so. but the Marines are still continuing to push their way forward, and now gonna do an elevator drop up onto the high ground. The Mutalisks are now gonna be trying to come in, trying to snipe down the Medivacs, as well as it looks like the Marines are able to fight back 1-1 weapon upgrades as the Zerglings now coming in from behind as well. So this is gonna become a very nasty flank as Darkcell just completely runs over and takes down all of those Marines there.
Oh, so many Zerglings and Banelings getting a huge surround of those Marines and tanks, and it looks like Murder doing his best to elevate her up to the high ground here, and now just gonna have to be in a full-out retreat. He lost all of his tanks, and there are just so many Zerglings, 96 now and 18 Banelings. They're easily gonna be able to shut down the few Marines which are left in these Medivacs.
Yeah, those Marines are just trying to figure out where they can go, trying to land in between the two positions. The Zerglings, unfortunately, have to just constantly run over every time as the Marines are just doing a last all-ditch effort to try to win this war here and now try to focus down those Mutalisks. The Mutalisks are coming in, Banelings, and now in comes a nice evacuation, and it looks like Murder will be able to save the rest of those Marines as the Army of Darkcell, just in the center of the portion of the map, trying to figure out what it can take down.
Yeah, the Planetary Fortress about to finish. A few missile turrets going up as well, and it looks like these Zerglings are going to be challenging this Planetary, trying to get a nice surround here. The Banelings able to get huge damage, and instantly down goes the Planetary Fortress. And Murder's plans for a gold expansion, that high-yield base, are going to be dashed, as he's going to try to get it up and running here again with the command center going up. But Darkcell just all over the place with these Zerglings.
Yeah, Darkcell now trying to make a way in. He's going to be able to push their way into the supply depots and the supply line over here. There is one Planetary Fortress, and I believe those supply depots prevented those Banelings from really being able to find their target, as Red Cell needs to figure out what's happening in the center portion of the map. He doesn't see the very large army now making its way out, and it's going to be another drop. Siege Tank's going to siege up, but out of time. And now the Marines are just running up onto that high ground, trying to survive. It doesn't look like many of them will, as the Banelings just sacrificing themselves once more. And now I think for the first time, Murder is actually behind in terms of his army right now. 3450, 1075 versus Darkcell's 42, 1275.
Yeah, way behind, as another beautiful flank there. Darkcell just using these very basic units. Zerglings and Banelings, they are 2-2. So this Baneling is going to be doing 43 damage against those light Marines. And again, getting a surround there before the tanks were able to get sieged up and in position. And Murder perhaps got a little bit too hasty there with that attack, and his whole force going down. He's just got a few meager units left, just a few tanks, and now it looks like he's going to be going for an all-in drop. We'll see if the Mutalisks here do catch it. There are just five Mutalisks left, so I'm not sure they're going to be able to take down all these units before they make it into the main of the Zerg. So Darkcell defending here is going to be basically the deciding factor in this game.
Yeah, Medevac's already dropping in. Marines are now coming in as well. Siege Tanks are going to siege up. There is enough to perhaps trying to soften up those Zerglings before they get into position. Banelings are now trying to run in as well, and the Marines just running away as quickly as possible, trying to avoid getting that acid damage, able to pull back, and now perhaps doing another drop over here. The natural expansion has been mined out as the Zerglings are now running rampant through the natural expansion as well, so both sides suffering heavy casualties in terms of just minerals.
But Darkcell's macro not failing him. He's 165 compared to the 82 of Murder, and he's got these Zerglings just going unchecked in the natural, taking down all comers here. The remaining forces of Murder going to be taken out momentarily here by these few Mutalisks, and it looks like Murder going to have to give the GG. Not really sure what he could be doing here. More Zerglings and drones coming out for Darkcell, and there's the GG. So 1-1, Quantic Gaming evens up this series against VVV Gaming, and now we'll go into a pretty important Game 3.